Hi, I'm Dr. Trish, and I am here today with Josh, who is one of our therapists at our clinic. And he does Ketamine Assisted Psychotherapy, and he's had some amazing results and stories to tell. Josh, let me ask you some questions. Josh, tell me some of the things that you've noticed with ketamine that has been improvements for people.
Well, as a clinical mental health counselor, one of the most important things to me is that people can actually see their mindset start to change, right? And that's one of the biggest things I've seen with ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. I work with a lot of people who have struggled for a long time, people who have been treatment resistant. They've tried different medications, they've tried different types of therapy, and they just can't get their mindset to shift the way they want to. They have positive intentions, but they can't quite get there. And with ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, it opens up their mind to a new type of flexibility, a new way of thinking, and that gives them an opportunity to act in a way they've never been able to before.
So let me ask you another question. I know you've had some amazing experiences with some of these people. Talk about some of those and what you've seen and maybe from an emotional standpoint too, because I know ketamine really affects people emotionally.
Yeah, ketamine does affect people emotionally. I think one of the key things that I've seen with numerous patients is they're afraid of feeling. They're afraid of what emotions are. They numb themselves. Oftentimes when people come into ketamine therapy, they don't know why they're depressed. They don't know why they have anxiety. They can't put their finger on it. But what they do recognize is that they just can't seem to feel. And so with the way we do our ketamine-assisted therapy with mindfulness techniques and really tapping into that positive perception, they start to be okay with feeling again. And that's what I've seen with a lot of my clients. I can think of one client in particular who talked often about how because of her trauma, her lifelong trauma as a child, she didn't feel like it was safe to express her emotions, to cry, to be angry, to do any of those things because it was dangerous for her. She felt like she was going to be punished in some way. And with ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, she doesn't have to worry about that. She was able to just let go of all of that and be in the moment. And by being in the moment, she's able to release those emotions. Sometimes with our clients, it is a very emotional experience. They cry. Sometimes they shout out. These are not negative things. These are things that are releasing some of that trauma that they've experienced in the past. And then when ketamine therapy is done, they feel that, they notice it. And as we process it together, it's a unique and new experience for them.
I know that you have had a recent experience with a man that almost drowned. Mm-hmm. Talk about that and tell us how ketamine helped him.
Yeah, this client is someone who had a lot of experience growing up around the water. That was part of his identity. It was very important to him to be around the water and the beach and those areas. And several years ago, he had an experience where he had a heart attack in the middle of a swim in a lake. And during that experience, he had a hard time getting help, very traumatic for him. And as a result, over the last several years, he hadn't been able to be around the water at all. Can't look at it, really can't be in situations where he might find himself at risk.
Well, and he was there with his wife, right, too? And he was worried about her as well,
yeah,
right?
He was there with his wife.
And he was kind of almost dying.
Yeah, he described himself as dying, you know. Yeah. He was in a situation where the reason he survived was because somebody else, another boat, was able to come and see his distress. He was too far away from his wife and other people that he was with at the time. So he came in for ketamine therapy in the hope that he could get some relief from that trauma because he was going on a Hawaiian vacation and he wanted to be able to have the full experience of being able to enjoy the water and everything that Hawaii has to offer. And so in our therapy sessions with him, we focused on helping him get back to his core identity. We wanted to essentially give his brain permission to think about the water and Hawaii and his identity as the way he did before, letting go of the anxiety that he experienced. We even decided together in deciding what music we were going to use, we actually introduced sound of the ocean to him, so that as he was in the ketamine experience, his subconscious would be able to listen to that, but not feel threatened. Because that separation between mind and body is very real. And so there wasn't a threat there to his body as it had been in the past. So we did a session together, and then even after that session, he said he went up to the reservoir up here in Utah and sat on the beach and just watched and listened to his recording, and felt some anxiety, but it was significantly better. Had another session and talked about confidence and being able to have the courage to step out of his fear and his anxiety. And then after those sessions, he went to Hawaii, he came back and reported that he had a great time. And he was able to do things in a very measured way. He started off by going out on a boat, and then he went and did some snorkeling, and even went so far as to be able to go in the water and underneath the water. And he acknowledged that there's still some trepidation, but that anxiety looked a lot different. And that's a really, really good example of a situation where sometimes people have very specific things that they want to address. And when they have those specific concerns and worries, and they really know what their positive intentions are, ketamine assisted psychotherapy really makes a big difference